Hello YouTube, my name is Lawrence Legellan. I'm a gay man from Australia and I will be voting no, a hard no, to same-sex marriage. I will be flipping through Dante's Divine Comedy because it is one of my favorite books to illustrate my absolute no to same-sex marriage and my reasons why. So allow me to speak and flip, and you will listen. My reasons as to why I'm against same-sex marriage will be as follows. The Yes campaign has ruled by fiat, over social media. Okay? They have not given the No campaign a voice to speak. And anyone who speaks against same-sex marriage apparently is a bigot. Well, I'm a gay man and I am voting against same-sex marriage because I'm so deeply annoyed with what I figured out on my own. And it kind of scares me, but I'm more afraid, especially for children, what could come down the pipeline in the future. So, with that, this is how it's going to go. Let's just say if the government mandated change to marriage comes into law with the Yes camp winning, okay? This is what could happen. With more government interventions in marriage and in family life, the government can enforce the extraction of children at a whim's notice without the parents' consent. This is an issue that will be happening in the United States and in Canada. Secondly, pedophilia. The Yes campaign saying, oh, it's not going to be a slippery slope. Yeah, well, guess again. There is a document written by a gentleman, a gay professor at La Trobe University in Melbourne, Australia. His name is Gary Dorset. And in 1982, he wrote a document which I will be linking in the description below. It speaks about how he seeks to legalize pedophilia and boy-man love. In Afghanistan, they have a similar practice to this known as bachabazi, okay? So there is your Islamic and gay lobby connection, if there ever was one. And people who say that it's not in the gay lobby's best interest to side with Islam, think again. When it comes to polygamy and pedophilia, both sides of those two teams are fighting for the exact same thing. Trust me, they are. And I will be vehemently against the gay lobby as it stands because it has toxified the culture, the gay culture. You know, we used to be about the brotherhood of man. And I'm going to say that again. The brotherhood of man. That's what it used to stand for. Now it stands for the sisterhood of bitching and cajoling, and I'm sick of it. Furthermore, why I'm against same-sex marriage. It will fragment and destroy the institution of marriage that was put in place to bind one man and one woman together, because that is the most stable form of a human family. One man, one woman. Let me say that again. One man, one woman. Not polygamous sex, not pedophilia, the destruction of the child. No, I will not stand for that. I am vehemently against it. Utterly against it. In fact, I am so against it that I find it even abhorrent that a guy like Professor Gary Dorset would even write such a thing. I am utterly disgusted. My disgust, and I can't even explain my sheer disgust. It is the most horrifying thing I have ever come across, and excuse my emotions, but I am deeply upset by what I've learnt about the gay lobby recently. Furthermore to this, the Yes campaign is a politicized campaign. It is using us gay men and women with the forced guise of equality to get what they want out of the destruction out of the majority of marriages, with the definition of marriage being watered down. Okay? And when you water down the definition of marriage, other grievance groups can come and say, well, you did it for gay people, why can't you do it for us pedophiles? Or why can't you do it for us people who believe in polygamy? The whole point of the Christian definition of marriage is a high moral virtue, a high moral standard to try and get the human beings, us human beings, flesh and bone, to start thinking with logic and reason, to stop thinking with our base animal desires, and to discipline and challenge ourselves. That is virtue. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations speak about this. You know, he was the finest Roman emperor ever created because he believed in virtue, and that is why the Western society is one of the best societies on the planet, if not the best, because it has an age-old rule about virtue and the importance of loyalty and the importance of doing things for the common good, for a genuine common good. You know, the Yes Camp talks about equality, but they never talk about freedom. They never mention freedom. Where is the freedom in the equality campaign? It does not mention it. That concerns me. I'm a man who believes in freedom. And if I believe in freedom, you know, for me, for being gay, then I believe in freedom for all of us, especially straight men. I don't understand this hateful campaign against straight men. Some of my best friends are straight men, and they are some of the most decent and dignified human beings on the planet, and I'm getting sick of this bullshit feminist Marxist campaign against men. As Barbarossa said, a MGTOW man, and God bless him, and I hope he's still writing stuff and doing stuff, there will be a post-feminism man, and it's not just gonna be straight men, it is also gonna be gay men, because I am vehemently opposed to feminism and how it is completely hijacked and co-opted the Yes campaign for equality. Yes, equality of outcome, but not equality of opportunity. How communist of you, feminists, and how communist of you, gay lobby. Don't think I don't see you for the shifty gitzes that you are. I will figure you out, and I already have. So what does the equality for same-sex marriage have to do with communism? Well, it's very, very simple. They only talk about equality, but they do not talk about freedom. And when you pander to a minority like us homosexuals, and when you destroy the sanctity of marriage for the majority, and when you, by state and government, sanction that change, then all hell will break loose, a slippery slope will ensue, and the Western family, the Christian family, a proper family, that is when we lose control over our progeny. And even though I'm a gay man and I will never have the right to procreate, I want the next generation of straight and gay kids to have the same freedoms that have allowed me to live in a free society and in a free world. I want us to be free, all of us. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I will be voting no. A hard no. An absolute no. No. I know straight people don't hate us gay people. I know that. Yes, there's a small minority of straight people who still are rather homophobic, but that's okay. If we can have a conversation about it without them hurting me, then they are entitled to their view. I know that to some gays, that might seem like such a horrible way to think about things, but think about it. They are allowed to think as they want. And it is our job as a community to tell them that they are allowed to, but to say why we are gay. And that maybe through conversation, not ruled by fiat, not forced repressive tolerance, but through conversation and dialogue, maybe, just maybe, through that, they will see us as cognizant, thinking human beings. I know this might have sounded like a rant, but understand my concern and my fear that if same-sex marriage gets passed in Australia, it will destroy the family. And it will give more power to the government to take away a decent man and woman's child. That concerns me and it fears me greatly. Having had read the documentation, do you know in Melbourne in particular, we have now, thanks to our communist premier, Daniel Andrews, and I don't care, I said it, he is a communist if I ever saw one. He is instituting this educational program, education, yes, more like indoctrination, called Safe Schools, where it talks about homosexuality, and the different broken down groups and terms within homosexuality, and it is to be rolled out across public schools and private schools. I have warned as many people as I can about this. It too is an affront to the notions of family and of country. People talk about these bullshit notions of human rights when we have a constitution and common law that protects all of our rights. Be aware of any human rights legislation or campaigning. Gillian Triggs, I will find whatever I can to put you in jail. Mark my words on it. I don't care how this comes across. I don't care. I've had enough. I've had enough. And I'm gay. I can only imagine straight people, particularly straight men, and how fed up they are with the gay propaganda that my fellow brethren are currently putting out, with the feminist propaganda that I cannot stand or tolerate, and the overall communist Marxist garbage that capitulates all good men into subservient domicile status. I will not be falling for that, and neither should you. We should all come together and fight these people to the gate and make sure that the people's voice will be heard. If you live in Australia, vote no. If you're in Canada or the United States or the England, please listen to my words, consider them. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but please look up Gary Dorset, a professor at La Trobe University. And as I said, I will link the article below that he wrote in 1982. Because if pedophilia becomes law, God help him or anyone else who does anything. And I mean that. With that, if same-sex marriage does go through, we will have a freedom of speech issue, we will have a freedom of religion issue, and it will become a constitutional crisis with the changing definition of marriage. And I don't think gay people fully understand that. Take care. Goodbye.